Nico Collins is on a record-shattering pace as he currently leads the league with 489 receiving yards through 4 games. Malik Neighbors is second with more than a 100-yard gap between the two. Megatron's record is 1,964 yards. And if Collins keeps going at this rate, then he will finish with 2,078 yards. That'll be one of the best seasons by any player in NFL history. And it's not just a fluke. Last season, he finished 6th in receiving yards and 7th in touchdowns. So it's time to talk about Collins in the same breath as Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, and yes, even Justin Jefferson. As a matter of fact, he tied Jefferson with the 4th best receiving grade according to PFF last season. He's a different player for sure, but he has some rare abilities of his own. I mean, the guy runs like a gazelle. He jumps like a mountain lion, and he catches footballs like a working girl catches the clap. It's just so easy for him. But there are a lot of guys who can do these things in the NFL. So what makes Collins stand out? Well, starting with his speed.
He's really fast. I mean, he's so fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
He consistently leaves dudes in his dust, making him a massive deep threat at all times. I mean, the guy averaged 16.1 yards per reception last year. Coordinators know they are taking a risk if they don't have safety help or a corner playing 10 yards off. And even that doesn't always help. The Texans masterfully use this speed as a decoy to open up other guys underneath as well. Here you can see a quarters look by the defense. While Collins' deep threat pulls both the safety and the cornerback's attention, allowing for a huge opening underneath to Tank Dell on a deep crosser. Unfortunately, pressure on Stroud prevented a big play. Collins also uses his speed on deep crossers himself to great success. However, one of my favorite aspects of Collins' game is his ability to make every route look like a vertical. This is a skill that made Julio so elite as well, and it only works if defenses are first scared of your speed downfield. You can just see play after play Collins creating space by getting secondary players on their heels or even flipping their hips because how well he sells vertical. He puts his head down, drives his knees high, and has long strides before eventually snapping off his route, which is not only artfully done, but also extremely difficult just from an athletic standpoint to change directions at that speed. Collins actually ran the L drill in 6.71 seconds, which was in the 93rd percentiles for receivers going back to 1987. This drill highlights a receiver's ability to maintain speed when changing directions, and it's all over Collins' tape. He maintains his speed on deep in-breaking routes, creating easy separation for huge gains. He runs quick outs, flipping his hips and running to the sidelines without even a hint that he's about to break off his route. And he can run a whip route with such perfection and athleticism, it puts Patrick Surtain, the second highest paid corner in the league, on his ass. Speaking of route running perfection, you will see a lot of that if you watch Collins' tape. For example, here the defense is in a cover 3 look, which means the seams are going to be a weak spot. Collins has a cop, meaning a corner to post route. Now, when selling the corner, it's important that he doesn't widen too much, causing the cornerback to get inside, and then Collins would have to fight back across his face. So he widens him just enough to create extra space in the seam, but not so far to lose the leverage he wants. But then, when breaking back into his post, he has 2 ways he can run this. If the safety is playing a little low, then Collins would run this post more vertical, trying to get behind the safety. But because the safety is playing so far back, Collins bends this route just underneath him and away from the corner who he widened, now squeezing right into an open zone for a big 24-yard gain. Collins hasn't gotten the ball on all his double moves, but they are really all a thing of beauty. If he keeps running routes like this, then I don't know what defenses are supposed to do other than double this guy. Real quick, if you are enjoying this video so far, then please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on what comes next. Now, another example of Collins' route running can be seen here, where he uses a tempo change in his speed to get wide open. Notice how he only runs this route at about 70% to start before bursting downfield, then breaking off for a deep end. This is route running nuance. It's not as simple as running the route drawn on a whiteboard, but it's about how you run it. Now, some routes you do run just how they are drawn, but if you aren't strong enough and you are facing a physical corner, then you got no chance. Well, Collins has no problem with physicality in his routes, probably because he's 6'4", 220 plus pounds. Yeah, this speedy receiver with great route running is also a physically punishing giant. It really shines in his elite ability to pick up extra yards after the catch. Defenders just bounce off of him, or he carries them for a few extra yards. He was actually third last season in missed tackles forced and third in yards after the catch per reception, a skill that helped him accumulate 122 yards a game this season. Look, I could go on forever with this guy, but I'll wrap it up quickly highlighting one last elite skill, and that's his ability to catch the ball in all circumstances. He has phenomenal ball tracking to adjust to the ball when it's in the air. He has a massive catch radius thanks to his huge wingspan and great hops. He's got great concentration and soft hands to make one-handed catches, for example, on the sideline. And he has strong hands when need be to secure catches through contact with defenders all over him. If you're watching the same tape I am, then I don't know where you really poke holes at this guy. Now that he's been paired with a great quarterback in CJ Stroud, it looks like there is no stopping him. He truly is a special breed of receiver that could shatter many records before his career is done. I mean, he's only 25 and on his way to a 2,000-yard season. If you have Jefferson, Chase, Brown, or Lamb above him, I won't slam you for it, but you got to at least have Collins in the conversation. He's changing what defensive coaches can run against the Texans thanks to his vertical threat. And he's tearing off massive plays despite the cover 4 or bracket coverage he sees over and over. He was second in the league last year with 3.11 yards per route run, and that's one of the most telling stats for a receiver's production. Well, even with coaches paying him more attention this season, he's still averaging the exact same yards per route run. Look, this is a Hall of Fame career being born in Houston. Mark my words. Texans fans had Andre Johnson, then DeAndre Hopkins, and now, maybe the best yet, hasn't even entered his prime, Nico Collins. If you made it this far, then thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my video. Please give it a like and subscribe. It helps my small channel a ton. Also, leave a comment on who you think the best receiver in the league is. I'm curious what name will show up the most. And who would you like to see me do a video on next? It doesn't have to be a receiver. It can be any position or scheme. I'd just love to hear from you guys. Well, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.